Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. This is Kurt Robinson, blowing your socks off, sending your brain into interdimensional galaxies that you could never conceive of. Hope you're tuning in. Listen closely. Another episode gonna blow your brains out, so listen up. So this episode we're gonna talk about Aaron's adventures in Ireland and in the UK through the city of London there. But for some reason we diverted course a little bit and started talking more about decisions, the decisions that you make. And when people say, I have to do this, what they really mean is there are certain things which are strongly encouraging me to do this, or this is a thing which I want to make a priority because of the consequences of it. So, for example, in the episode, Aaron says, I had to go to my sister's wedding. What he really meant was he wanted to do it. And so he made it a priority for himself. In the episode, there's one thing that comes up about journalism when Aaron is going through customs or immigration and they're searching his stuff, and he says, they ask him what he does for a living, and he says he's a journalist. And that's a reference to a previous episode, also a reference to an idea which originally I heard from Doug Casey, where he says, this is something you should do when you're passing through airports to make it obvious to these bureaucrats that maybe they should just leave you alone a little bit, that you are a person, that you are important, that you do have influence. So the other thing is jump on Steemit. So Steemit is a social platform, a blogging platform where you can get paid to produce content, to curate or vote on content, and to leave comments. So I strongly encourage you to have a look. Not financial advice, but have a look at the site and see what you make of it. And we appreciate it if you upvote our posts. So you can check them out at steemit.com/@paradise-paradox. So links in the description. So have a look there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let's get into it. So what's happening, Aaron? Mr. Battle, Mr. World Adventurer, World Conqueror?
Yeah, man, it's not by choice. I mean, it looks cool. Like, where's Aaron today? But I went for my sister's wedding, which, one of, can't miss your sister's wedding. I mean, what else can I say? So I had to go, and plus, Mum and Dad made the effort to get out there.
No.
It was a wedding.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me you had to go. You made the decision because family is important to you. That's okay. What happened. Nobody was forcing you. Nobody twisted your arm. Nobody held a gun to your head. You made the decision.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You know what? And this is a good point that I think we may want to expand. But I'll go through the story because it is all about choices. We do make choices, and yes, family is important to me, at least, a lot, because I feel like, that our time on this planet's so short, and, we meet so many amazing people along the way, just drifting in and out of your life all the time, yet, sometimes you're forced to live with 7 other people, in my case, to grow up with for the majority of over half my life, because I'm not that old, and it's like being in a prison in a way. I mean, I think we came across this at the last in Acapulco. Someone said about kids being they didn't choose to be born into a family, so you kind of got to respect them because they're not there by choice.
Yeah.
I had 5 other brothers and sisters.
I think that line of thinking probably comes from Stefan Molyneux originally. Yeah,
really?
Because he says, well, look, they didn't have the choice to come here, so you got to make things good for them. Like ideally, you want to make it so they would choose. If they had the choice, they would choose to be with you.
Yes. Yep. So I think, in the last couple of years, I've been out of Australia, living in Mexico, and I've realized, I think it's important to have a good relationship individually with everyone in my family. So it's been 2 years and I haven't seen everyone, and we're all meeting up in Ireland. It's like I made a decision to go. I invested 2 weeks to be out in real country Ireland. I mean, it's wonderful, but I mean that you are so far out. I mean, I had an uncle and auntie that went as well from Australia, and that I was making those Irish jokes all the time, and I was like, you know what, it makes sense now. Ireland's
why
really Irish.
Wait. When you say Irish jokes, do you mean jokes about how Irish people are stupid, or another kind of joke?
No. Okay. Well, there's just some things that I mean, okay, in Australia, I think it's a joke that Irish people drink so much. It's like, isn't that like a stereotype?
That's that's the truth in my experience, not just a stereotype.
Well, there we go. Yes. Well, from my experience, it's it's quite valid. We drank a lot, and you couldn't. I mean, I could have chosen not to have keep drinking. But it was like, we're bonding here. This is good. This is good stuff. And the drinks just kept coming, and, the bartender was really cool. And, the pub was only a few blocks up from the cottage we're staying in. This is in the beginning. And, it was a whole party trip. Anyway, so that was the reason why I went to Ireland. And it was good. It was good times. I had good fun. But about 4 hours ago, I'm back in Mexico City now. And yeah, I'm still feeling a little bit... I don't think I'm very jet lagged because I did my best to sleep as much as I could on the plane.
What happened?
Well, firstly, I don't travel very well, and I don't like airports, and the whole idea of security just does my head in because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really do anything. It's kind of silly, really, because I mean we've spoken about it. If you're going to do something, then you'd plan around the system. You need that system to be there. Like, that's the brick wall. I want to get over it. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to just run at it and go, oh shit, there's a brick wall in front of me and I can't get past. You're going to bring a ladder. You're going to push it over. You're going to go around it. You're going to look for the tunnel. You're going to do something else. So security is just kind of
great analogy.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So anyway, so of course I'm in trouble in security, and you know what it was? It's my bloody microphone. Microphones do not go through security very well.
No, I've never had a problem.
Yeah, well, twice. It's like my microphone. So now it's like, they say get your laptop out, get your Mexican boots off, that kind of thing. Well, I had to get my microphone out with the laptop and go, well, there's a mic as well. Just so you know. I don't know, I've got endless travel stories, and I kind of want to get them into a sequence, but how about I'll spit them out as I go. If you want more info, just hit me up. Okay.
Well, I do remember when I was leaving Colombia, they decided to search my bags, and well, I guess I'll have to tell the whole story another time. But the guy found my microphone, and he's like, "What's this for?" And I'm like, "Well,
it's got ribs
I'm a
on
rapper,"
it.
And he said, "Okay, rap something for us." And I kind of thought he just wanted to hear it, but I guess he was actually testing me because after I rapped, they're just like, meh. They didn't say, "Hey, that was pretty good" or something, or that's cool that you rapped in Spanish. Or no, they just went, meh.
What an asshole!
I passed the test, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's kind of just tick the box. Yep. I kind of feel bad for those security guys, really, because I think they know their job is irrelevant. Like, deep down, they really know, even people checking the forms, like that, I don't know what they look for. What do they look for? Make sure that the passport number's the same, and then who gives a shit? Bang, off you go.
Yeah. So they nearly didn't let you into Mexico, or they nearly didn't get.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is before I get to that bit. Well, this is the thing. just for anyone that hasn't been to Mexico before or doesn't really understand, I mean, Mexico is the classic, and I mean, I love this idea. Mexico is classic freedom. It's like, it's what Hollywood uses, you know, let's rob the bank and let's get to Mexico, and it's driving off into the sunset. That, I love that idea because it's true. Mexico is pretty free. And unless you travel to non-Mexico places, you forget it. And it's, I was really happy to come home. But just leaving Mexico, I had all my bags checked, but not by security, by like tax agents, by SAT people. And I asked them, what are you doing? And they said, we're just doing a routine check, of course.
Oh, that's such a bullshit response. It's like,
okay.
It's like them saying, we're checking your bags for no reason. We're searching you for no reason. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's my shit. Fuck you.
And I said, so what are you looking for? What are they looking for? Merchandise with tags on it they can get tax on? Look, wads of cash? So, you know, we started up a little conversation. They asked you, like, so what do you do? Well, I'm a journalist. Okay, who for?
Bing!
The Paradise Paradox. Yeah, we're a pretty substantial, fairly new, but we do alternative media, covering things that other people won't. So what are you guys doing? And they just started putting my shit back in my bag.
It works. The magic works.
Yeah, it does. So this is before I left Mexico, but anyway. That was fine, and getting into, I had to go to Colombia, had to pass through Colombia. Well, firstly, it was the cheapest flight. There were other cheaper ones, but the cheapest flight that didn't ask for a visa, and this was a visa for my wife because there was a cheaper flight that flew through Canada. So visa problems. That's another episode in itself. You know, what's the point of all that? So I'm going through Colombia. That was all good, but then flying into England, because I flew into London first. Dude, the pesticide. No, it's the. It could be, it's like a pesticide spray that they dose everybody with, and man, you said, look, if you do it on the way back, then you should record it. They caught me by surprise. They came up from behind this time.
Yeah, okay.
Only one can, not two.
They just started spraying people. No warning.
Oh no, they don't announce it.
Wow.
And you know what? I don't really care about the spray. I'm already a bit nasally, and I'm not feeling very well. So and it was still super strong. I've been thinking about this because this happened on the way into London. So this is 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what am I so pissed off about here? Is it the fact that I've just been bug sprayed, or is it the fact that I wasn't given a choice? I wasn't advised at all.
This must be a huge health problem because, what if somebody on the plane has asthma, which, I'm pretty sure that's statistically likely. They'd just go into a fit, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. After they pass you and have done the whole plane, then they go, oh, thank you for being so calm during our new... I think they did say it's new, routine. Of course, everything has to be routine. Otherwise, they've got no reason to do it again. Bug spray. No, they use a word. They use a word for this. And they don't call it pesticide. They call it something else. But who gives a shit? It's a spray to kill something. Yeah. Well, I was from Colombia, so I didn't take it.
Thought.
This is what I hate to say it, but I'm wondering whether first class got the same dose. Yeah.
Well, good question.
Yeah.
I'm guessing probably
so
not,
I was like, it may be a different spray. If they were even sprayed at all.
Just spray a little perfume. Now everything smells better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that kind of put a bad smell in my nose, taste in my mouth for the whole trip, because then I thought, okay, this is kind of like this first class world, just trying to getting one over, the Colombians and their airline. This can't, and of course they go into it's for the protection of the people with the Zika virus being out of control and whatever.
Out of control.
And I thought, well, okay,
it's everywhere in Mexico, isn't it? You can't walk around the corner without seeing a Zika virus.
Well, this is the thing. I didn't expect to get sprayed on the way home as well.
Yeah.
But I was.
Right.
And like I said, they came from behind this time. So I didn't even see them coming.
And then this was a flight from Heathrow to Mexico City.
No, this was from Bogota, Colombia, to Mexico City.
Gotcha.
And they said, yeah, I had to double think. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, it wasn't from London to Colombia. It was into Mexico, and they said, this is a requirement by the Mexican government. I was like, the Mexican government, they don't make new decisions. This is the North American Union just putting something in uniform.
Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, it's a little speculation, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way,
I mean,
nobody seems to know.
Why is Mexican government making that kind of decision without somebody twisting their arm? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't imagine. Yeah, that's the way it would go down.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, getting back to Mexico. It was a connecting flight through Bogota. So I'm in London and I'm getting my new boarding passes printed out, and the girl behind the counter says, "Wait a minute, can't check your luggage in because it looks like you don't have a visa to Mexico." I was like, "Yeah, Mexico doesn't have a requirement. Do you have a visa? There's no issue." And she said, "Well, do you have a how long are you going to be there for? A couple of weeks? Do you have your leaving ticket booked?" I said, "Not yet. It's it's a bit flexible depending on how long I need to be in Mexico for." Which it's not a smart thing to say really when they're asking you about a visa. But I'm aware that Mexico is 180 days for any tourist that turns up.
Well, at least for Australian citizens, some other citizens.
Yeah, so I didn't expect so much heat over it. Yeah. Then she asked me, "Well, are you a citizen?" I said, and I think so. I mean, I don't know. What do you need to have to be a citizen? Because it's all just ticking boxes again. Yeah, I have an electoral card. I don't have a Mexican passport, but I mean, who needs that when you've got an Australian one? And she's like, "Yeah, no, let's have a look." And I mean, she had no idea what was going on. It was kind of late. I was flying out at 10, so they had plenty of time to hold me up because there's no one else there. And so I give them my Mexican ID. And then she's like, "Well, this is just a voting card. This isn't your ID." I'm like, "Well, what is this?" I was like, "What do you know?" It's what we use in Mexico. I was like, What's happening? Anyway, she called the supervisor over and they had to take it and go off.
You introduced it to her as the electoral card, so that's probably your mistake. What you need to say is this is the national identification of Mexico.
No,
get it into her brain.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, if I said that, it wouldn't have been an issue. I just said, "Well, he's a Mexican ID," and that was it. Yeah, but you really got to be. This is a thing when you're dealing with machines, you really need to put the right code in. So pick your words very wisely.
Yeah, that's well put. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I had the same thing last time I left Australia. But the woman wasn't a dick about it. Like, I mean, it sounds like yours was a bit. A bit more mechanical. But she was like, "Oh, let me just check this." And she asked someone and she said, "You got a credit card?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay." And then when I left Colombia, they were like, "No,
what?
You can't."
How's a credit card?
Yeah, because it's like, if you have a credit card, then obviously you have the funds to get home, no matter what.
Yep.
That's some kind of theory. Anyway, the dude in Medellin was, he was like, "No, you can't. No, you don't have an onward flight. You can't." And I was like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about. Can I speak to your manager?" And the manager said, "You got a credit card?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Fine."
Yeah.
And that's the way it went. So. I don't know why this guy thought he knew something when he didn't. I don't know what gives people that attitude. Yeah.
Well, in my case, which I clicked onto pretty quick, was this girl was new and she was just following the procedures, like question 1, question 2. And, she just didn't want to get in trouble over anything, so she was double-checking everything with her supervisor anyway.
Right.
So I started chatting with her. Just like, so hey, you hang out here much? Sort of thing. It was getting pretty awkward. I had to, like, my ID's been taken away to some other office. I had to say something. And I said, so how about all this Brexit stuff, hey? Like, what do you think about that? And she did, this is what threw me. Brexit? What's that?
Whoa.
I'm like, we're in London. The reason why the pound just dropped half the other week. And I don't know, the reason why the Prime Minister decided to pack up and leave office. And, she's just like, well, I don't care anyway, because I've got my green card. And I was like, green card? You need a green card to be here? Where are you from? She goes, no, I'm a green card for the US. And I was like, why the hell would you want to go there? Hillary? Trump? It's like, come on. You're in London. So she looked all confused, like, well, what's wrong with the US? And then she said, look, the US isn't all just New York and bad presidents. Yeah. Like, I could go to, like, Miami. I could go to Los Angeles. I was like, oh my goodness, who am I talking to here?
Oh, Miami. That sounds nice. I've never been there, but
no, I haven't either. But I mean, I guess she had the right idea, holiday destinations. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd want to leave. And I don't mean this to be like just a rhetorical question. I literally don't know why you would want to leave England to go to the US. I look at them like they're both in the same shit.
Yeah.
I mean, politically, financially, I don't know, but then maybe I'm reading the wrong news. Like sometimes I wonder, because I go to these places and they're booming. Like all the nightclubs are open, everyone's got cash, there's construction going on everywhere, and I'm thinking, if everywhere's in recession, then why am I having such a party?
Yeah, I guess probably a lot of money coming from bankers doing coke off strippers' backsides or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of funny when I
as you do to handle stress.
When I talk to Russians and they say, I'm thinking about getting whatever for the US, and to me it seems like, okay, so you're trading in a country which might collapse in 6 months for a country which might collapse in 3-5 years. It seems like a funny decision.
You mean should have collapsed 8 years ago?
Sorry?
Or did? You mean should have collapsed 8 years ago?
Yeah, well, probably
or did collapse and they just
8 years ago, and it's just in the death throes. Or who really knows? Because it seems like it's been like that for a long time, since 1971.
Yeah, I begin to wonder what are the factors that are going to really make it. I mean, I feel like it's been trembling for all this time, but that's just because I'm going off, GDP percentages to debt and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, well, in theory, you kind of, if I'm just Joe Bloggs and I owe the bank, $100,000 and I'm earning $25,000 a year, then I should just kill myself. But this is a whole country, and everyone seems to be pretty happy, driving their cars to work and still working away. It's like, okay, well, Joe Bloggs gets it, and he did. He's one of these bankers that jumped off the buildings in the last couple of years. But the whole country as a whole,
poor fellow was only earning $3 million a year. How is he going to pay that $1 billion debt?
I don't know. Yeah. But he could have. See, I begin to wonder, like, is that what was happening? Like, is it because they knew they couldn't pay their debt that this is a thing? Or is that just, like a misdirection, disinformation or something? Is there something else to it?
I don't know. I didn't read a lot about that, but it seemed like the alternative media was portraying it as some kind of conspiracy, like, well, what do you know? Another banker just turned up dead. For no reason. Suspicious circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. No idea.
Press like on YouTube, press like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Pocket Cast.
Well, I think I like this this idea of decisions, and I think it could be like a theme that we start running.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, it's like I feel like I have to do things based on, I don't know, just, you know, like I told you, having to do this trip, having to go to Ireland was like, you know, I have to go. You know, irrespective of my financial position, of timing in my life, it's like everyone just, it's like my whole family took holidays. Dad took holidays. My sisters took holidays. Yeah, it was like, and uncles and aunties, everyone just took a break off. And I was like, that's a big ask for a lot of people, just to have an international wedding. And I think, you know, I did the same a couple of years ago. But it didn't. I didn't realize how much effort goes into everyone turning up until I had to, and it was like it was terrible timing. You know, I should be back in Australia doing something else, or doing something else. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So and then you helped me through it. You helped me like understand, Aaron. You don't have to go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have to go. It's like a family thing. And it's like, well, really, you don't have to go. You don't have to do anything. You know, in the way you say it, like, you know, you're a free man. You know, you grab both those nuts and you do whatever the hell you want. So, so I was like, shit, I'm making a decision, and it's got all the right principles and values to it. And like, I'm going because, you know, it's my sister.
Yes,
you know,
you made it a priority.
Yeah.
You put it at the top of your list because it was important to you. And
exactly.
Nobody was forcing you.
The thing is, I use that same methodology or belief system that I need to do something for some things that maybe I don't need to do. And I mean, I'm not just picking on me. I'm talking about everybody. Like, you know, have to go out for drinks on Friday with the work crew because I have to. If I'm not there, they're going to call me a pussy Monday morning.
Yeah.
Or it's like, you know what? I don't have money to pay rent. I better go back to work. Get that rent money.
I have to sell my body.
Yeah, like whatever it takes. I need to pay rent because I don't want to sleep outside. But I'll happily bend over.
Right. Well, that's interesting. I mean, a friend of mine was living with his parents, and they didn't like certain habits that he had. And they wanted to intervene and get him to stop doing certain things. And his father said to him, "Listen, if you don't stop this stuff, then I'm going to kick you out." And he was like, "Okay, cool, great. I'll live on the streets. It sounds good to me." And he wasn't just saying it like a bluff or, you know, something to shock his father or something like that. No, he genuinely meant it. He was like, I've lived on the streets before. I like doing it. So, you know, I'm actually only living here as a favor to you because you didn't want me living on the streets. So, you know, and his dad was like, "Oh, no, actually, don't go."
Yeah, how does that size up for a big screw you?
It wasn't intended that way, though. It was just like, you know, I am what I am. I'm autonomous. I do what I want to do. And you know, this friend of mine, he's unable to be controlled.
I think that super quality, superpower of somebody knowing where they're at, you know, literally knowing their limits and knowing that most of us don't have very many limits. We can pretty much do whatever we want. That could make somebody the most dangerous person. Like they don't fit in society anymore, where we all put our head down and just get back in the queue. So I don't know, where did you come across this idea of I do whatever I want? Because it's not that simple.
Well, that's not what I said, though.
Okay.
Don't take it that way. The point isn't that you do whatever you want. Not
Yep.
exactly. I mean, the point is, some things you want to do, and you can claim that you have to do them, or you need to do them, or there's some kind of obligation, but the reality is you actually want to do them. So if it is really something you want to do, then do it with your whole
Yep.
heart, and don't pretend that somebody else is making you do it. But if it's not something you want to do, if it's not a priority for you, then you can just leave it behind.
Yeah.
But of course, either way, it means you have to deal with the consequences.
I gotcha. Because I'm a married
So
man.
the only real time you have to do something. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I'm a married man. There's a lot of things that I think I want to do, and you know what? Sometimes I don't. And I think that I'm speaking for all married men.
Well, that's because
it's like you're a team.
Sure. But that's because you made the priority. You said this is something that's important to me, and I'm going to stick to that, even when it's hard, even when I feel like I don't want to do it in the moment.
Yeah.
You made the decision that actually you do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pretty cool topic, and I've got so many different ways to go with it. But yeah, it's the choice that you always have a choice. And yeah, it's okay. I like the way you put it. The consequences is like, if you can deal with that, then you're okay. But don't be kidding yourself by saying, that sounds like a good idea. I wouldn't mind doing that. And then it doesn't happen by itself. Like, you need to actually follow through.
Right.
You need to choose to put in whatever that is that you need to do to follow through. And I'm a culprit, so I'm speaking from my heart.
Accept what comes after it, because if you don't accept what comes of it, then you're going to be miserable, no matter which decision you make. Because you're going to be fighting with yourself, saying, "Oh, I don't really want to do this." But if you want to do it, it's a priority. Then do it.
Yep.
Really do it.
Well, it's a good practice to get into.
That's the idea.
Because
I think this idea.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I'm just saying it's a good practice to get into. Go on.
Okay. Well, I think this idea comes from, I don't know exactly where, but it might have been something I read in like Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, something like that. But I think it's also, it's kind of about economics in terms of human action. So there's a joke, an economics joke, so, maybe this might not make you laugh, but two economists are standing outside a Ferrari dealership, and one of them says, "I really want to buy that Ferrari," and the other says, "No, you don't, because if you really wanted to buy it, you would be in there buying it." So it's about priorities. If you really have the priority, then your action should reflect that.
You'll find a way. You'd be in there smelling it and test driving it at least.
Yeah, but that's, well, yeah, I mean, that's slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that has something.
It's such a slippery topic.
To do with it. Like, you need to go through the actions of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Why is it so slippery?
Well, it's because, recent example, the wedding. It was like, you know what? I got better things to do with the money. No, I see I'm going down a different path here. Okay, as much as I was thinking,
but obviously you don't have better things to do with the money.
No,
you
because I
wanted
did it.
to do that with the money.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, no. But in hindsight, I mean, at the time, it was like you have these ideas, like, do I really need to go? And of course, like, I mean, it's my sister's wedding, I have to go. Bear in mind,
you have to go because it's your priority.
Yeah, well, I think it's because the principles and what I've learned these last couple of years being away from my family, that family's like what we're forced into in the beginning. And, if you can't fix and enjoy these relationships, then you really don't know who you are, in a way. That's something that I think I need to explore a little bit more. But I'm beginning to think, like, it's not a coincidence that I was put in a house with 7 other people, 7 other, not alike, crazy people, and super different personalities. And it's like, this is forget about school as your education, forget about life lessons. Like, you need to learn these people first. They got something to teach you about yourself. So, and I only realized that being away from them. And then I go back and I see them and I was like, now I know why I spent 2 years away from you guys. Such a pain in the ass. And then you have a few drinks and it's all like, oh, I'm sorry, man, we're cool. And it's all good again. But I really think there's something in that. I think there's something within family relationships that if there's like a problem or like because of course your brother or sister, of course you got a headbutt at some time. I think it's important to work out what exactly that is or was, and then try and admit that it's a bit silly, because you wouldn't because you have this level of honesty with your own siblings, and like there's no barriers there. But anyway, the whole thing was good, and I think if I now that I've been, and now I literally flew in like 5 hours ago now, and I was like, I grabbed my wife, I gave her a kiss, and I said thank you, mission complete, because that was heavy on her too. She hasn't met my family before, really, other than the wedding, but spend time and live with people for an extended week and a bit. It kind of gets a little bit crazy, and and you know a little more than the rest of everyone I was watching, so. There's a few heated moments, but, nothing family life can't handle.
Okay.
Yeah, good fun.
So you had a good trip in the end.
Oh, yeah, no, it was great.
And you had a good time with your family.
Yeah, family was cool, but people need to travel. London is not somewhere that I would go, somewhere that I'd want to go, but it blew my mind. Like, it's just, it's such a cool, big city, and considering everything I hear, alternative media side, there's still a lot of cool stuff happening. Like, expensive as hell, I think. I spent way, whatever I said budget for the weekend, double it. I think you still come short. It was insane. But it was like, well, I'm here, so
things in euros, so.
Yeah, but the thing is, I got caught up in this circle of like, I'm here now, so why aren't I going to order another pint? It's like, it's only an extra €7 more or pound.
I'm already 10,000 in the hole.
It's like, what's an extra
to the limit?
Yeah,
there's this story about what's his name, Barry Greenstein, the card player, great card player, and he tells a story about one point in his career when he's had a really bad run, and some charity contacts him and says and ask him, Mr. Greenstein, would you like to make a donation to this important charitable cause? And he said, all right, put me down for $10,000. And the guy's like,
yep.
Wow, 10,000. That's a lot of money. You must be a man of means. And Barry's like, it doesn't say anything. On the inside, he's like, I'm $1 million in the hole. So what's an extra 10,000?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. See. Yeah, I think if everyone lived like that, the world wouldn't work. But then when you look at it,
the world what?
The world would fall apart. Like, it wouldn't work. But then when you start scratching at the surface,
yeah. Well, luckily, I think it was only a temporary situation. I didn't think he ever had to declare bankruptcy.
Okay. You see, I'm starting to think that everyone is living like that.
Well, probably more people than we think. Probably a few people would pass on the street.
Yeah.
And more than a few governments.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. Because, it's so easy not to use cash in the first world. And I kind of forgot. Like, if you got a credit card or any debit, you got a debit card. Like, I got one of these Bitcoin-loaded prepaids. And I'll tell you what, you go through a few Bitcoins pretty quick. When it's easy, just swiped away. Like, just cha-ching all day. Having a great time. I'm in London. I'm Superman. It's like whatever you want. But I'll tell you what, if everyone's living like that, like you'd have remembered what Australia was like before you left, just with interest-free credits from one bank to the next, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, and then constant, buy a new car, get a new house. Huge competition on the land down under. I'm looking forward to going back. More travels.
And getting some cheap credit.
Well, yeah, why not? Why not? Why not keep the casino?
If they let you.
Well, this is another question. This is going to be another episode. I feel like this topic, because I mean I was just happy to just go off the cuff, but I'm thinking if I actually made notes, because I've got so many more stories, that this should be part 1.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, make some notes, and we can go through some interesting ideas.
Yeah, because I mean, you got some good stories too that I'm sure I'm going to jog your memory on, and it's interesting stuff because it's relevant to how people live, and I mean this perpetual traveler stuff. It's like I could travel forever now. And it's not even like a buzz. It's like it just makes sense. Work online, keep a low profile, just get in and out of one country to the next. I think it's quite easy for a lot of people to get into that swing. And Mexico being base camp, it's like, why not? I only spent a couple hours in the airport at Colombia to know that I'm going back to Colombia.
Let's go. 2017, Colombia.
We got a lot on next year. We're talking about Acapulco. These are like my milestones.
Oh, that's only
I got
one
an
thing. That's like 2 weeks. And
hey, it's just so hard to say put another 10 in on top. Now, I got a couple things happening next year in February. I think you know what I'm talking about.
No.
Well, we got an Acapulco. That's locked in.
Then we go to San Luis.
We got the Peyote Adventures number 2. That's locked in. I'm giving my word to the public and to yourself and whoever else said they're coming. Maverick's still in, right? Drop him in. You better be.
Yeah, and a few others.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So I don't know. It depends. It depends what's happening. Next year seems so far away. I mean, I've got so many things I want to get done this year before next year.
All right.
So
we'll get into more of that next time because you're running out of time.
Yeah.
So good talking to you, and yeah, nos hablamos.
Hablamos pronto.
Another wonderful episode of the Paradise Paradox. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for opening your eardrums so you can receive the audio waves that we're beaming out to the universe like a bat signal. Remember to have a look at least at Steemit.com. So Steemit is a social media platform where you can get paid to post and comment and curate. So have a look at that. You can check out our content on there at www.steemit.com/@paradise-paradox, and my content on there as well. So a lot more stuff that you won't find on the Paradise Paradox website. Steemit.com/@churdzu. That's CHURDTZU. Aaron's on there too as @battleaz. So he hasn't posted much yet, but you can have a look, put him in your follow list, so when he posts some stuff, you can keep up to date with his interesting adventures. Thanks so much for listening. Love you guys. A big kiss. And send out lots of peace and love to the universe, and change your world and create a new world. I'll talk to you soon.